Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining the Talk Shop Show with Erica Aguilar, the Senior Vice President of Complete CU Services, and myself, Pierre-Jean Galland, the CEO of Complete CU Services. Today, as usual, we have a very, very interesting guest, Matt McGuire from the AML shop, a terrific personality as well as a great professional.
Absolutely.
What would be the average fraud like for that type of that romance scam? How much did you get scammed for? I'm joking.
The average value is around $20,000. My older brother was actually subject to one of these scams. It was the saddest thing ever. Pierre, he came to me. He's like, I met this girl and she was in the Ukraine.
You're laughing.
I know. It's my brother. I'm allowed. So he was so taken with her, and she was so, I could see the appeal. I mean, she'd sent the picture and she was incredibly flattering. Like the whole time it was, you're incredible and you're this and you're that. And she concocted these stories where, she had to get to Canada somehow and she had to take a train from here to her aunt. I became aware because I was lending him money. He was like, can I borrow this? And I'm like, sure. And then it got to the point where the numbers escalated. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And so then he tells me about the girl and, I said, would you mind sending me one of the emails? You know what I do for a living. I'd love to look this up. And so he did, in fact, many of the emails. And in one of the emails was a poem. And that was the first thing I checked. I'm like, listen, a scammer is lazy enough that I'm sure this is not a new poem, right? So I just searched it on Google, and sure enough, hordes of men were reporting scams by somebody using a similar poem and stream of, it wasn't roses are red either. So, I felt it was original enough. Nevertheless, but it's a super set. Actually, in the end, I guess I was the one who was scammed because I was lending the money.
I was just going to say, like, you didn't go through.
You're the source of the...
Yeah, well, there it is. Oh,
you're finite.
That's awkward. I'm going to think of a better story for next time.
In terms of cryptocurrency nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes. How, why, when, I don't even know how to ask this question. How, like the banks, when they participate in a cryptocurrency transaction, means that the members, the banks or financial institution, is their money. They are going to use the money, and then they're going to pass it through CoinSmart, I believe it is, for Canada, or other servers. So, is there any kind of regulations nowadays where people will be to keep the members safe? Let's say in a credit union, right? Into getting into this kind of transactions with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I think the regulatory environment's a good one to start with, right? So in Canada, we are regulating dealers in virtual currencies like we would regulate a money services business. So it's not really prudential regulation; it's a registration regime with some AML requirements. That's really where things have been. And there's some more reporting requirements coming in June, but those aren't really as significant as this, which is to say that there was just a circular put out to cryptocurrency, focused at cryptocurrency dealers from the securities commissions, and the idea is this, that they've finally gotten around to the point where they're saying, if you deal in virtual currencies and you custody those virtual currencies, no matter what they are, you're a securities dealer. With all the sorts of things that a security dealer has to do. So suitability, so security, safe custody, those sorts of requirements. And so even if you give immediate possession of those coins and you don't custody, the next question they ask is the thing you're selling a security? So Bitcoin is fairly widely recognized right now as not being a security. Whether that's a tenable position or not, I don't know. I mean, based on its volatility and the way people use it. It seems more like a security than not, but nevertheless, some of these other cryptocurrencies are quite clearly to me derivatives, right? That they base their value on something else. They're backed by gold, they're backed by diamonds, or some based on some multiple of something else. They're, so it brings a lot of these cryptocurrency companies under the umbrella of securities dealers, which really changes it to a prudential regime, and much more oversight. Now that's just begun, and the notice said that these cryptocurrency entities had to approach the Securities Commission no later than April 19th. There are some provinces that haven't adopted it. Off the top of my head, Manitoba and Saskatchewan, who are taking different approaches. But this is a neat change in the way that things are being dealt with in terms of a regulatory framework. In terms of money laundering, that's a really difficult one to answer. At one point, the FBI said that 3/4 of their financial investigations involve cryptocurrency of some type. It's fairly definitive at this point that ransomware attacks that are being run out of North Korea, for instance, are very focused on using cryptocurrency as their means of payment, in large part because they're not reversible. Once the money is sent, it can't be retrieved, right? And we know that in Iran, for instance, there's huge cryptocurrency mining operations. It's one of the ways they're circumventing sanctions. So can it be used for crime? Sure. Are there more controls? Definitely. If a credit union is getting involved in cryptocurrency, they have to think about this carefully. They have to think about how are they going to make sure that those entities are regulated properly, are regulated, not that they're regulated properly, but that they're regulated, that they've put in sufficient controls to not be used in financial crime, or to be able to detect it if they are. And then how are they going to consider the risk of wallets? You know that in cryptocurrencies, there are software packages that have developed that allow you to look at every individual wallet and its risk. So has it been associated with the dark web? Has it been associated with mixers and tumblers, which are applications that allow you to create distance between one wallet and another through breaking up and reassembling transactions? So it's an important subject matter for anti-money laundering professionals, and it's going to evolve really quickly over time, particularly now that securities folks are involved.
Oh God! No, God, please, no, 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 no!